Well, that ought to wake you up. Morning, everybody. Josh, RV Nerd, here with Bish's RV. Today, I want to give you some helpful tips and information actually talking about the difference between stabilization and wheel chocks. They're not actually the same thing, and it's something that I don't know that I've done a good job of explaining in the past. And I grabbed a couple parts off the shelf, and I want to go through and kind of show you the difference between some things so that you can spend your money, the first time, because this is kind of a situation where if you buy cheap, you're going to end up buying twice. And just like I try to help you find your second camper the first time, I want you to get your, second set of accessories the first time and not waste that money. But there's the thing here. There's a little bit of a difference between a stabilizer and a wheel chock. They each do slightly different things. They definitely work together. They're definitely related. But I want to help educate you on that a little bit so you can know which things might be the best for you. First of all, I'd like to thank Cougar for involuntarily volunteering to use this RV as a guinea pig today. But to the point here. There's a difference between wheel chocks and stabilizers. Stabilizers, as the name implies, stabilize the RV, and I know that sounds stupid, but what that means is the side-to-side herky-jerky wiggle-jiggle. That's what stabilizers are designed to handle. These that we're looking at are wheel chocks. They stop the wheels from moving. They stop the RV from rolling forward and backward. Those are not exactly the same two things. Like I said, they're definitely very related, but I want to kind of break down the benefits and drawbacks of these different things so that you can understand which one's best for you. So first of all, the good old plastic El Cheapo wheel chocks right here. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with these. They do perform their job of preventing the RV from rolling back and forth. The thing with something like this is that, especially when exposed to sun, because, petroleum-based products like this, they degrade over time. So if this starts to get weak and brittle and you start to roll forward or backward a little bit, it could start cracking. That could allow the RV to start moving a little bit. Now, this is obviously more of an issue when you're parked on really uneven ground, but especially boondockers who, you never know where you're going to be parked the next time sometimes. These things aren't always as awesome, not to mention the fact that the forward back movement, that you can create in an RV just by moving around it, whether you're just walking around it or fighting a fitted sheet or whatever the case may be, I don't know. It could cause these, if you're on like dirt, to kind of sink and settle a little bit, which destabilizes the RV. These right here, I only recommend like if you very rarely casually camp, you have a very modest campsite if it's already pretty flat. If you've got like a rubber mallet, you can really whack these suckers. You can whack them all in under there. Maybe you're using an RV as a temporary home while you're having a new house built or something. Then you're going to be out of it. Maybe this is all you need right here. But generally speaking, I'm just not a big fan of these. The more that I go camping, the more that I try out different stuff. So what would I recommend instead? Well, instead of those yellow El Cheapos, I like these guys. I like these big, heavy-duty, almost looks like you're on an aircraft carrier kind of thing, like you're chocking up the wheels of the fighter jet that Goose and Maverick are about to take off and fly into the danger zone or something like that. They're, physically heavier, certainly. They are also just heavier duty. They will hold up to like bigger, heavier trailers better, big fifth wheels, motorhomes, things like that. These are far better suited for that kind of thing. The little rope between them also makes it a lot harder to forget these things. Certainly not impossible, trust me. If there's an ability to do something stupid, I definitely possess it. No question about that. I'm fine. I'm LARPing. These things run a couple bucks more, but this is a buy once, a one and done. Instead of, if you buy cheap, you're gonna buy twice. Or somebody actually said it the other day, buy once, cry once, meaning just, cry about spending a little bit more money on a better product, but buy it one time and be done with it. I think we've probably all gone through that scenario where we bought something cheap and realize that we probably just should have got the good one. Now the good one costs even more money to replace it because you already spent money on the cheap one the first time. You get the idea. I'm talking in circles. For preventing the RV from rolling back and forth, this is something I recommend. But what about those X-Chock things? Well, these things are absolutely awesome. They do a fantastic job. The funny thing is here, despite the name, these are not actually wheel chocks. These are actually stabilizers. And remember, the difference here is a wheel chock is designed to prevent the RV from rolling back and forth, whereas a stabilizer is designed to limit side-to-side movement. Now, by virtue of the fact that you are basically cinching the two tires together, this will, prevent some tire movement, certainly, but that is not actually its purpose. The thing is, if the RV does start to roll a little bit, if there's enough of a incline or decline or whatever the case may be, these things can twist and break out of place. Now, understand, things have to go pretty wrong to have that happen, but I was talking to some of my parts managers at some of our Western stores, because I spend most of my time over here in Flatland Midwest, where, especially like if you go to like our Iowa store, you can see from cornfields to the Arctic Circle, unobstructed on a clear day. But out west, where it's all kinds of mountains and craziness and a lot of boondocking, these aren't as popular among some people, because there have been instances where an RV has shifted and either this is torn up or it's torn up a tire. And that's one of the other little hiccups on this, but again, things have to go pretty wrong for that to be an issue. And to give you an idea of a scenario in which you could screw up your RV's tires with a set of X-Chocks. Now, I also want to mention here, like, it sounds like I'm about to just start trashing all over X-Chocks. They're terrible, you shouldn't get them. I love them. I use them. But there's a difference between knowing how to use them properly and improperly and avoiding damaging stuff. That's what I'm trying to do here for you, teach you how to use these things properly. So, first thing, when you get to your campsite, the X-Chocks should be the very last thing that you apply to your RV. You should not put them on before you jack down your corner jacks or anything like that, before you do your slides or anything like that. They need to be the very last thing that you apply to your RV before you actually start sitting in that lawn chair and camping. They should also be the very first thing you take off your RV when you are breaking camp. So there's point number one. And the second area that people tend to accidentally use these wrong without realizing it is for people who are going to be at a site for a long time. So let's say you get to your site and you do what I said and you set the X-Chocks up absolutely dead last, but you're there for a long time, and over time you notice the RV starts to be able to wiggle jiggle around, and you don't know why. So you come out and you check the X-Chocks and they're still there, but they're just a little bit loose. So you go grab the wrench and you crank them, cinch them back down. Makes sense. You think, oh, the X-Chock must have just come loose from me moving around, right? Well, that's where you're wrong. Because something a lot of people don't realize, because like your tire pressure was fine, like you towed the RV there, it was fine. So it's like, it's not even on your radar half the time. But if you've been at a site for a long time, especially if there's been weather changes or if it's just been a long period of time, you don't realize your tires could actually lose a little bit of pressure. So if you notice the RV start moving around more than it used to, come out here, take the X-Chock off of the tires, check your tire PSI, and air them up if you need to before you put the X-Chock back on. Because what a lot of people will do where they get in trouble is the RV wiggles around. So they come out, the chock wiggles, and they grab the wrench and they just crank and cinch that down. But what you're doing is over time you're biting the tire harder and harder and harder, basically. And you can actually, you can damage the tire. Long story short, I won't get into specifics, you can just damage the tire. And especially once you do go back to towing and going, you could be setting yourself up for a blowout, which is just, I've actually seen in my career about once every 2 years, I've seen a tire blowout, literally total in RV. It can happen, and it can happen quickly, because even if you watch it happen, you can, by the time you get that RV slowed down and controlled and off the corner, a lot of damage on a belted radial tire could have already been completed. Again, that's my goal with this video, is to help you understand the difference between these things, get the right thing. I don't even care if you get it from us. Just get the right thing, know how to use it properly, and it's definitely a case where an ounce of prevention is certainly worth a pound of cure. Because I know that not everybody watching this is necessarily going to purchase from Bish's RV, and that's okay. Like, I get it. We're not in necessarily every neck of the woods, but if you found this information valuable, hit that subscribe button, like our video, tell us thanks, add some extra insights from your own camping experience if you have anything to share, and do me a favor and share a video like this in like your favorite camping social group or something like that to help spread this message, and maybe we can just help everybody camp better, you know? So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.